Hello, my name is Austin, and I've just finished a quick analysis of the current 2018 midterm election, and I wanted to provide this video to show where I think each district seat will end up November 7th after the election on the 6th. In less than 23 days, in about 14 hours, we're going to start seeing election results roll in, and we'll see how close I was in determining which seat actually went to which party. Now you'll see here, Real Clear Politics has already identified 205 safe, likely, and leaning Democratic seats, and they've identified 201 safe, likely, leaning GOP seats. And so in this analysis, I'm not going to break down where they came up with their safe, likely, and leaning for each party, but I'm going to assume that they are correct, and those 205 seats are in fact won by the Democratic Party, and these 201 seats are in fact won by the Republican Party. So this analysis is only on the 29 seats that Real Clear Politics, as of October 13th, has identified as potential toss-ups. I went through and analyzed each seat and looked at local news information, polls, and tried to get as much information on the ground for each one of these seats to determine what party they're going to end up in on November 6th. So I'd love to get your comments, thoughts. Please leave those if you agree or disagree, and please provide articles or information from any number one of these local districts to add to this analysis as I continue to provide further insight on these races. In future videos, I plan on breaking down each seat more extensively to give a more thorough analysis on why I think it's going to end up in either party, and in all reality see who controls the House on for the next Congress. So without further ado, I'm going to start off with California District 10. So in California District 10, we have Representative Jeff Denham that's being challenged by Josh Harder. Now, Josh Harder currently leads in the polls. He's up 5 points in the polls. And 538.com also has Jeff Harder with a 72% chance of winning. Clinton won this district by 3 points, and President Obama also won this district by 3.6 points. So I'm going to agree with both 538 and RCP, and I think this will be a Democratic flip, and this seat will end up with the Democrats. In California District 25, we have Representative Stephen Knight being challenged by Katie Hill. Currently, Hill in the Berkeley poll is leading by 4 points, where in the New York Times Seattle poll, Knight is leading by 2 points. 538.com has Hill with a 69% chance of winning. This is interesting because Clinton won this by 6.7 points, where Romney won it by 1.9. I'm going to assign this one to the Republican Party at this time, and I also believe as a strategy, the Republican Party should probably target this seat and focus on maintaining this seat. California District 39 is an open seat where Young Kim is running against Gil Cisneros. Cisneros currently leads in the Berkeley poll by a point, and 538.com, though, shows that Kim has a 52% chance of winning. Clinton won this district by 8.6, where Romney won it by 3.7. I'm currently leaning Republican, but could easily switch Democrat on this one. So this would be a great target for the Democratic Party, but I'm going to leave it Republican for right now. In California 45, we have Representative Mimi Waters is defending her seat against Katie Porter. Porter currently leads in the Berkeley and New York Times polls each, respectively, 7 points and 5 points. And 538.com gives Porter a 69% chance of winning this seat. Clinton won by 5.4 points, and Romney won it by 7.8. I'm going to go with the Democratic flip on this one. In California District 48, Representative Dana Rohrabacher is being challenged by Harley Rhoda. Currently, in a number of polls, it's tied. And 538.com is giving Rhoda the edge with a 58% chance of winning. Clinton won by 1.7 points, whereas Romney actually won this district by 11.7. I'm going to go with the Republicans retaining this seat, and I believe as a Republican strategy, they're going to need to fight for this seat if they want to maintain a majority. So for right now, this goes into the Republican pile. Florida House Seat 26, Representative Carlos Curbelo is trying to defend his seat against Debbie McCarcel-Powell. New York Times currently has Curbelo up by 3 points, and 538.com barely gives Curbelo a 50.7% chance of winning. Clinton handily won this district by 16.1 points, and Obama won it by 11.5. I believe this is a Democratic flip where the GOP as a strategy needs to fight for this, but as of right now, I'm leaning towards the Democrats taking this seat. In Florida 27, this is an open race where Maria Salazar is fighting Donna Shalala. Maria Salazar is a well-known TV personality in that district, and she currently leads the polls at 2 points. However, 538.com gives Shalala a 77% chance of winning. Because of Maria Salazar's name recognition, I'm going to have to go with Republican on this one, even with the strong 19.6 win Clinton had in the last election. I still think Salazar is going to take this one. However, the GOP really needs to start dumping money into this race if they want to win it. In Iowa 3, this is also an open seat with David Young running against Cindy Axne. Axne leads in one poll where Young leads with 1 point in one poll where Young has a heftier lead in another poll. 538.com is giving Axne a 57% chance of winning. However, President Trump won this by 3.5 points, and President Obama won it by 4.2. So it's gone both ways. As of right now, I feel strong about the Republicans retaining Iowa 3. Illinois seat 12 is currently held by Representative Mike Bost. Brendan Kelly is competing for this seat, and Bost is barely in the lead by 1 point. 538 gives him a 60% chance of winning this seat. President Trump won it by 14.8 points, where President Obama only won it by 1.6. So I feel pretty confident that the Republicans will retain this seat. In the Illinois House 6 seat, Representative Peter Roscom is defending it against Sean Casten. And the New York Times currently has Roscom up by 1 point. 538.com gives him a 65% chance of winning. Now, Clinton did win this by 7 points. However, Romney won it by 8.2. So we see it going back and forth a little bit there. And I think the seat will stay in the GOP's hands. In Kansas 2, we have an open seat. Steve Watkins against Paul Davis. Davis currently leads in multiple polls up to 4 points and has a 51% chance on 538.com to win this. President Trump, however, won it by a resounding 18.4 points, and Romney won it by 13.2 points. For this reason, I think the Republican Party will retain this seat as well. Kansas 3 is currently held by Representative Kevin Yoder, being challenged by Sharice Davids. Davids currently leads in most polls by 6 to 8 points, and 538.com believes Davids has a 54% chance of winning. However, what's fascinating about this is it appears that Davids is, I don't want to use the word hiding, but has not been as public as Yoder, as almost a strategy, and I think that's why she's leading in the polls and giving her an advantage. Clinton won this district by 1.2 points, where Romney won it by 9.5. Although Davids is currently leading in the polls, I think with the incumbent in this seat, I think the GOP can feel comfortable if they spend some money here on retaining this seat. Kentucky 6. Kentucky 6 is currently held by Representative Andy Barr. Amy McGrath is running against him. New York Times has Barr up by 1 point. President Trump won this seat by 15.3 points, and Romney won it by 13.6. The 538.com has a 52.3% chance for Barr to win this one, and I'm going to agree with both RCP and 538 and say the Republicans will retain this seat as well. Maine House Seat 2, Representative Bruce Poliquin is being challenged by Jared Golden. The Times has Poliquin up by 5. 538.com gives him a 61% chance. This one, I don't even believe should be in the toss-up pile. I think this one leans GOP, and I think over the next couple of days, we'll see RCP flip it over to the leans GOP. For that reason, I think this is a pretty safe, no, I shouldn't say safe, it's a leaning GOP seat. Michigan 8. This is held by Representative Mike Bishop. Alyssa Slotkin is currently challenging him. Times has Bishop up by 3. What's fascinating is the Congressional Leadership Fund has triaged this seat and canceled $2.1 million in ads that they had purchased in this district, which leads you to two conclusions. Either one, they don't think he's going to win and they're trying to save the money, or two, they think he's going to win handily and don't want to spend the money there anymore. So given where they're at in the polls, I'm leaning towards the Republicans holding the seat. What's interesting is 538.com gives Slotkin a 52% chance of winning. I'm going to have to go against 538.com at this time, and I feel like this is the Republican seat that will be retained. However, I think this is a great Democratic target seat where if they focus on this one, I think it's an achievable seat that they could win. But for right now, I'm going to keep it with the Republicans. North Carolina 9. With this one, Mark Harris is running against Dan McCready. It's an open seat. McCready leads in some polls up to 4 points, where Harris leads in other polls up to 5 points. And so we're kind of across the board on this one. 538.com is pretty much down the middle at 50.7%, with McCready having a chance to win. President Trump carried it by 11.6 points, and what's funny is Romney also carried it by 11.6 points. So I'm going to leave this as in a Republican control for right now. New Jersey 3, Representative Tom MacArthur currently holds this seat, but I think this is a good seat for Andrew Kim to win. The Times has Kim up by 10 points, and 538.com gives Kim a 62% chance of winning. President Trump carried it by 6.2 points, where President Obama carried it by 4.6. I'm going to actually go with a Democratic flip on this seat. I think the Democrats will win this one. In New Jersey 7, we have Representative Leonard Lance, who's defending his seat against Tom Malinowski. Malinowski currently leads the polls by 3 points. 538.com gives him a 62% chance of winning. Clinton won it by 1.1 points, and Romney won it by 6.2. I think the Republicans will retain the seat. However, this is also a great Democratic target seat for them to spend some money in and win this. But for right now, I think the Republicans still have it. In New Jersey 11, we have Jay Weber competing for an open seat against Mickey Sherrill. Sherrill currently leads the polls by 4 points. President Trump barely won this one by 0.9 points, where Romney won it fine at 5.8. 538.com gives Sherrill a 77% chance of winning this. However, I still believe the incumbent, I shouldn't say the incumbent, I think the Republican Party will retain this seat, although it's not an incumbent. However, this is a great seat for the Democratic Party to target and should spend money in if they'd like to take over the House. But at this point, I think the Republican Party, if the election were held today, would win the seat. In New Mexico 2, we have Yvette Harrell running against Now this is a hard name, and I apologize for botching it. I believe it's Xochitl Torres Small, or Miss Smalls. Currently, Miss Smalls for the Democratic Party, leads in the polls by 1 point. And however, 538.com says the Republican, Yvette Harrell, has a 61% chance of winning. President Trump was able to win this by 10.2 points, and Romney by 6.8. I'm going to leave this as a Republican seat for right now. In New York 19, Representative John Faso is defending against Antonio Delgado. And Delgado, however, leads the polls by 3, and 538.com gives Delgado a 53% chance of winning. President Trump won this by 6.8 points. I'm going to leave this in Republican control for right now. New York 22, we have an open seat with Claudia Tenney running against Anthony Brindisi. Brindisi currently has a 2-point lead, and 538.com is giving Brindisi a 61% chance of winning. However, President Trump won it by 15.5 points. I'm going to leave this in Republican control as well. In Pennsylvania 1, Brian Fitzpatrick is defending, Congressman Fitzpatrick's defending this seat against Scott Wallace. Clinton won it by 2 points. President Obama won it by 1.9 points, and 538.com has a barely 50.2% chance of Scott Wallace winning. With that low chance, I feel comfortable giving this seat to the Republicans. However, this is a great target seat as well for the Dems, and they should spend a lot of money on this one and could easily win that seat. But for right now, I think it's a Republican seat. Texas 32 is held by Congressman John Culberson, being challenged by Lizzie Fletcher. The Times has Culberson with a 3-point lead. 538.com says 52% chance. Clinton, however, won it by 1.4 points, but Romney destroyed it there at 21 points. So I'm going to keep this a Republican seat at this time. Texas 7, Pete Sessions currently holds this seat. Colin Allred is running against Representative Sessions. The Times has Sessions up by 1 point. 538.com gives him a 69% chance of winning, and I'm going to go with this staying as a Republican seat as well. Utah 4, I think, also leans GOP, and I think it's silly that it's a toss-up right now. Mia Love, Congresswoman Mia Love, is being challenged by Ben McAdams. Various polls have Love up between 3 and 6 points, and 538 gives her a 60% chance of winning. I think this is a strong Republican seat, which should be lean or likely GOP. It shouldn't be a toss-up, in my opinion. Virginia 5 is open. Denver, Riegelman is running against Leslie Cockburn. We don't have a lot of polls on this one. However, 538 gives Cockburn a 51% chance of winning. President Trump won it by 11.1 points and Romney by 6. So I'm going to give this to the Republicans as of right now. I'd like to see some polling on this. If anybody has additional local information on District 5 in Virginia, I'd love to get that information from you. Please leave that in the comments. In Virginia 7, I've got Representative David Bratt defending his seat against Abigail Spanberger. We have ties in multiple polls, and Bratt up by 4 points in some. 538.com gives Bratt a 63% chance of winning. President Trump carried this by 6.5 points. I think this is a Republican seat for now. Washington 8, this is open. Dino Rossi is running against Kim Schreier. Clinton won it by 3 points, and President Obama won it by 1.6. However, Rossi's up significantly in some polls, where Schreier's barely up in the Times poll by 1 point. 538.com gives the Republican a 55% chance of winning. So I'm going to go with the Republicans on this one. And however, this is a great Democrat target seat. So based off my analysis, on November 7th, I think we're going to see the House with a Republican majority at 226 and a minority of Democrats at 209. Now, it's only October 13th, and this can easily shift as we're seeing day-to-day new polls come out, new information come out. I'd love to get your analysis, your thoughts, your opinions in the comments below. Again, please provide articles or information you have on local district seats so that I can do a better analysis and get a better idea of what's going to happen before the 13th.